Hey everyone, welcome. I'm Courtney Sage of Birch and Basil Wellness, and we're here to dig into our virtual masterclass for Align the Seasons, and this is our winter box. So today we're going to be talking all about winter and how you can find alignment in your body, mind, and energy to also align with nature and the planets and what's going on for this season. So I just want to first tell you a little bit about myself. I'm assuming if you're here, you know a little bit about me. But I am a massage therapist, an energy worker. I do Reiki and chakra balancing. And I'm also a tarot reader and studying astrology right now. So really, I've spent 2018 figuring out like how to tie all of this in together, and what my mission and passion has become is the alignment of body, mind, and energy meaning our own personal energy and the energy of the universe. So I'm just really finding my zone of genius to be like finding the connections between all of these different things and how to help you like create flow in your life and excitement around these things, and how to also just like better access that knowledge so that we can take care of ourselves, build lives we love, create sustainable ways of living that feel good every day, and really just help us access our like full potential and our whole selves, our whole authentic selves. So, all right, let's get started. I'm excited to just talk about this because winter was so not my favorite season. And as I've been digging in deeply to all this information, building this box for you, we like, I've just come to really appreciate winter and be excited about what it has to offer. Um, so this box is right now, you're obviously with the virtual box where we're going to have a master class. We're going to have a yoga class, a meditation. So we'll be doing our mind, body, and energy. I'm also going to include some extra goodies. So we'll talk about that at the end. There's also a physical box available. So if you just purchase the virtual box and then you listen to everything and you're excited about getting the physical box, send me a message because I will provide a discount code for you to get the physical box if you already purchased the virtual box, because it goes the other way around. If you purchase the physical box, you're going to receive the virtual box in addition to that. So just let me know. This first round is really kind of my beta test this winter because I want to do this for every season in 2019. I'm super excited. So I'm super excited to really have you and the products and everything I offer in 2019 and base it on what you guys loved about this. And so I can really just keep the flow moving in a way that is what everybody's wishing for. So, all right, here goes. Winter really is a time to get cozy. I even set up at like a desk to have a very official video. And instead, now I'm surrounded by pillows on my couch because I was like, why not? This is what I'm talking about. Winter is the time to get cozy. It's the time to dig into projects, for me to cuddle with my dog, to be present in the transition of one year to the next. The days are short and the darkness is beckoning me to settle down and forcing me to slow down. I used to dread it, as I said, but now I've come to honor it, just as I have with all the seasons, just as I have with all sides of myself, because it is all of it, the light and shadows and everything in between that makes us whole. This wholeness is an ancient wisdom and the inspiration for me creating this series and this subscription. This virtual and physical box is the first trial, like I said, before I launch the full year of offerings for 2019. So each season, I'll be focusing on alignment for that specific season. My mission is to guide you into alignment for your body, mind, and energy, aligned with the seasons, what's happening in nature, in the planets, in all of that universal energy, and how we can connect to it. So to focus on each area so that we may find, discover, treasure, and truly honor that wholeness of ourselves and the universe. Winter is the perfect time for me to dig deeply into this project. It's a time where the ground is being nourished, but we can't see any of the change yet. The change is happening below the surface. Things are changing deep inside of ourselves. We may not only see it, but we may not quite know it yet. This is a time for being, not for doing, for letting the magic of the darkness, of what's deep, of what is below the surface, of what is at the core and at our roots to really do its own work. This is a time for allowing, for facilitating, for trust, for doing what we need to do to be ready for when the ground breaks and the seedlings sprout up from the depths through the surface. So we must slow down in order to let this deep work happen. We must nurture our bodies and surrender to this time of listening. We can listen to nature, listen to our bodies, listen to the season. Not everything can grow year round, but that does not mean the flow of the universe stops, or the flow of our lives or our own momentum has to stop. When we can align our outer worlds and our inner worlds, we are able to integrate those forces for our full holistic potential. Winter is a great time to begin tuning into this process because we're going inward, we're staying in, we're tuning in. So we must listen before we act. We must slow down to be able to hear. We must allow so that we can witness. When we can witness all that comes to the surface from our depths as we move through this season, we're able to really come into that full potential I'm talking about, really just accessing that alignment, finding our own flow, finding what feels good and what works for us. In nature, everything hasn't died, but it's not blooming. The leaves have fallen, they become compost, and that compost is nourishing all of the roots. This is time to rest, to soak in all of that nourishment. But it is also a time to reflect and redirect. We're able to think of what grew this past year. What did we plant that flourished? What are we able to think of that grew well this past year? What came to fruition? What didn't do as well as we expected? What did we have to let go? And what lessons did we learn from that? We can take all this information and use it to help us look forward, to plan how we would like to do things differently during the coming year. What will we keep? What will we do the same? What will we not return to? What can we do differently? This is a way to still be taking an active part in our lives, in our businesses, in our relationships, in our homes. That is still us honoring the season. It's still slowing down, more going inward. It's really still us like playing a part, but that subtle part. And so, I think about how we kind of want to hibernate sometimes during winter. Obviously, some animals do that, and that happens in nature, and that works for them. But when we totally go into hibernation for winter and just completely turn off, it's like the spring arrives and we're 3 months behind on work. Our life may have like kind of become a little chaotic, or we may not be so connected to ourselves or what's happening. And so things are starting to pop up. Like in spring, everything kind of starts moving again. In nature, the seeds are coming up. Things are starting to become green. We're ready to get moving again. But if we haven't prepared, then we're not ready. And we would feel scattered moving into spring if we didn't plan. So we are still kind of taking action in winter, like we said, but that's subtle action. And that subtle action is that preparation, that really thinking in. If we think back to primitive times, it's like we would be planning what we're going to plant in spring, but we can't plant it yet because it's not ready. The ground's not ready. So this will be our time to thinking about what worked in our garden, what didn't work, about the sunlight we got, how we saw how that manifested in our plants, and then really like planning how to do that. Maybe if we were moving to a different area, we could kind of start searching out what works well in that area and just really digging into what comes next. But we have to balance that with that nurturing, that like letting things rest and slow down, because it is that time for not full hibernation, but slowing down, listening, allowing, tuning in, going inward. And so that's where we're able to really reflect on our past year while also transitioning into the new year. So winter solstice is a time that like kind of aligns with the calendar we live by now, close enough that we're still in that same energy as we move into the beginning of winter and that transition into a new year. So as we like start thinking ahead to our year, we can think about what we want to plant in spring, what we want to grow in summer, so that we can harvest it in fall and then come back to that winter season where we slow down, take it in, reflect, redirect. So the other 3 months are a lot more action, where this is a lot more of being, a lot more being instead of doing. And all of this we're talking about is really just us mirroring nature. So learning how that alignment can mean that like part of what we're doing with ourselves can be aligning with nature so that we mirror it and direct it and become in a deeper flow with that universal energy. So things that are happening with us are what's happening outside of us as well. And just finding that connection is going to really help us build into, you know, a chance for that potential that we're talking about, that holistic potential. So what's next? We're going to be digging into that astrology. So also when you kind of start thinking about the actions as you plan out your year, I'm providing in this virtual box my monthly action sheet. So it's month to month. When we talk about astrology, you'll be able to see how you can also even plan your themed months and your themed actions with what's happening in the signs, because there is a certain energy that comes along with the planets and the signs that we're moving through as the year goes by, that you might be able to access that energy to really help you get stuff done and think about what's best at different times. So we're going to be digging into that. And this is just such a perfect time to really dig into that, to tune into our authentic selves, our true desires, and with the nourishing and slowing down, being able to stay present as we plan ahead, because we don't want to live in the future. We don't want to live in the past. We want to be able to be present. So really making sure we find that balance during winter while we are looking back and looking ahead. So let's dig into more detail about what's really going on in winter and how we can align ourselves and our lives with that universal energy to find a state of wholeness, of flow, of our true potential. And so we're going to talk about all the astrology next, but I want to throw this out there that anyone that purchased this box is going to have access to me directly over email throughout the season. So if you listen to this and you have any questions about how it specifically relates to you, if anything comes up during winter that I can support you in, any details that you just want to expand on, please feel free to email me so I can answer questions. You're also able to schedule readings with me, coaching with me, private sessions with me, and my all-day intensives, which include every part of everything I do. So I'm excited. Beyond this box, this has been so fun to create. But the thing that makes me most excited is these intensive days I offer, because it is a full day designed just for you and what you need. And we are able to really talk about alignment in a big way, because we dig into all these different sides of yourself, body, mind, and energy, and that universal energy with astrology and tarot. So with an intensive day, you would get a massage, we would do Reiki and energy work and chakra balancing, and then we would do a tarot reading. Before this, I would have your birth chart pulled up so we'd be able to look at the astrology for you that's coming up. And then we're going to tie that all together, because before your intensive, we'll talk about what your goals are, why you're doing this, what you need out of this. And then we can really tie it all together. And really, that's where I get to dig into my coaching self and see the connection between what's going on in your body, what's going on in your energy. And then we talk about what's going on in your mind, so we can actually tie it all together to help you find that alignment you need to achieve your goals and like live a life you love. And like, I'm just so into that idea, and I like love doing it for people because it's that holistic approach. And it's what's really driven my passion and my purpose and everything that I'm moving into in my new year and my business. All right. Ready for astrology? Let's do it. This is going to be a lot of information. I'm going to try to really start just giving you a base layer, but there's going to be a ton of information. So grab your journal if you'd like. This will be something you might want to take notes on. I can provide deeper information if you'd like I said, over email or through you scheduling an actual reading. But I hope I really gives you that beginning start to think about how you can use astrology and the planets and the signs to help you in your life. To me, astrology is another language of the universe. It's another level to understanding energy. It's also math and science and intuition. It magnifies my ability to be in alignment in my life because I tune into how the planets, the signs, the elements, and the modalities affect my own energy. The universal energy affects our energy and vice versa. So that's where also when we put stuff out there into the universe, and we want it back, we have that ability, but we can also be aware of what's going on in the universe to help access that flow, that give and take, that give and receive. To me, horoscopes do not tell us our future, but they do tell us what will be available to us. Like I said, that giving and receiving, when we're aware of it, we're really able to access that manifesting quality. So it's our choice how we use this information. There are so many layers to it. I'm going to work through some of the signs, some of the moon phases, and a couple key points. Just to, like I said, give you that base layer of how to access astrology of the season and use it to deepen your alignment and find a better flow to bring you to your potential. So let's start off with winter solstice. This is the beginning of winter. It is a celebration of light, but it's so important to honor the darkness because it is the darkest day of the year. As winter solstice is the darkest day of the year, from then on out, the days start getting longer as we move towards spring. So that's why it's a celebration of life. But to me, it's really that celebration of our wholeness while we're welcoming the light, just honoring that darkness, getting in tune with our shadow sides, seeing our light qualities, finding how they mix together, and taking that time to really honor it all. So on winter solstice, it's important to be with your shadow. So just get in tune with that darkness, be willing to release it, and be willing to know that you can just only let things move forward with you that you want to. So as we welcome the light, we can release what we don't want and really bring in the light qualities. So it's a time for clearing space for what's coming next, making those last finishing touches as we move into winter.